He was just a merchant's son, living a quiet life in the bustling markets of Sylvaris, until a century-old curse drew him into a palace of magic, mystery, and a sleeping prince whose destiny was tied to his own. One kiss would awaken the prince, reveal a hidden power within him, and change not only the kingdom, but his heart, forever.
Welcome to another Bliss Tales video. Subscribe to my channel to keep these beautiful tales alive. New info, we have memberships and supers now where you can thank me and suggest new video ideas. Thanks for your support.
In the kingdom of Sylvaris, where magic once flowed as freely as the rivers that carved through emerald valleys, there existed a curse so powerful that it had frozen time itself. For 100 years, the kingdom had been caught between twilight and dawn, either fully alive nor completely lost. The markets still bustled with merchants hawking their wares, the people still loved and laughed and went about their daily lives. But something vital, something essential, had been stolen from the very heart of the realm. A shadow lingered over even the brightest celebrations. A sadness permeated even the most joyous occasions. That something was Prince Thalorion, the beloved crown prince of Sylvaris, heir to the throne and hope of the kingdom, who lay in an enchanted slumber deep within the palace's forbidden wing, unreachable, untouchable, lost to time itself. The curse had been cast by Malachar, a vengeful wizard from the neighboring realm of Thorn, who had once sought the hand of Sylvaris's queen in marriage. When she refused him and chose King Vale instead, Malachar's heart turned to shadow and his magic to poison. On the eve of Prince Thalorion's 18th birthday, Malachar struck. He appeared at the celebration like a storm-given form, his robes billowing with dark energy. Before the royal guards could draw their swords, he cast his curse. Let him sleep until true love's kiss awakens him. But know this, no one in this kingdom shall ever truly love him, for I have woven that impossibility into the very fabric of the spell. The prince collapsed mid-dance, his body crystallizing in magical ice that gleamed like captured starlight. The queen tried to reach him but was thrown back. King Valen's soldiers rushed Malachar, but the wizard vanished in black smoke, his laughter lingering like poison. The kingdom mourned that night, and every night for a century afterward. But curses, like all magic, have loopholes. Vaelric had never known a life beyond the roads between kingdoms and the market stalls of Sylvaris. His father, Corvin, was a traveling merchant of exceptional reputation, dealing in rare silks, precious gemstones, and exotic spices from lands beyond the eastern mountains. By the time Vaelric turned 19, his father had secured exclusive contracts with the royal family. They supplied the palace with fabrics for ceremonies, precious oils for the lamps that burned in the great halls, rare incenses for religious observances, and countless other necessities that kept the palace functioning. Vaelric had grown up witnessing the profound sadness that permeated the palace walls like a constant fog, settling into every corner, touching every soul who walked those ancient corridors. He had seen King Vale age beyond his years, lines of sorrow etching themselves deeper into his face with each passing season, the weight of the curse pressing down on his broad shoulders like an invisible crown of thorns, bending him slowly but surely under its burden. Vaelric himself was an unassuming young man with dark hair that fell in waves to his shoulders and eyes the color of autumn leaves. He dressed simply in the tunics and breeches of a merchant, content to exist in the spaces between nobility and common folk. He had never seen Prince Thalorion except in paintings. The palace corridors were lined with portraits of the sleeping prince. Vaelric found himself drawn to these portraits. There was something in Thalorion's painted eyes that seemed to reach across the century of sleep, something that whispered of dreams deferred and destinies interrupted. The night everything changed began with a storm from the western sea. Vaelric had been invited to remain at the palace overnight due to the weather's severity. His father had departed that morning, leaving Vaelric to finalize a shipment of winter furs. As lightning split the sky, Vaelric found himself unable to sleep. There was an energy in the air that made his skin prickle. He rose and walked to the window, pressing his palm against the cool glass. That was when he saw it. A light, pale blue and ethereal, flickering toward the palace's eastern wing. The forbidden wing where Prince Thalorion slept his century-long sleep. Vaelric knew he should ignore it. The eastern wing was sealed by royal order. But the light pulsed again, and with it came a sound between music and words. A calling that resonated in hollow places of his chest where he had not known emptiness existed. He dressed quickly and followed the pale light through empty corridors, down staircases into the palace's older sections where stones were darker and air tasted of ancient magic. He expected guards but found none. Doors that should have been locked swung open at his approach. Wards that should have repelled him parted like curtains. This was meant to be. This was destiny unfolding. Finally, he reached a great door of silvered oak carved with glowing symbols. It opened, revealing a chamber beyond that took his breath away. The room was vast, its ceiling lost in shadows above. In the center stood a platform of white marble, and upon it rested a crystalline chamber gleaming with inner light. Inside the crystal, perfectly preserved, lay Prince Thalorion. Vaelric approached slowly. The prince was even more beautiful than paintings suggested. His golden hair held depths of amber and honey. His features were refined, almost ethereal, with high cheekbones and a strong jawline softened by youth. He wore ceremonial robes of deep blue and silver, hands folded peacefully across his chest. But it was the prince's face that held Vaelric transfixed. Even in sleep, there was something magnetic about Thalorion. His lips were slightly parted, as if he had been speaking when the curse struck. His expression was serene peace, unmarred by the century past around him. Vaelric found himself reaching out, pressing his hand against the crystal. It was warm, pulsing with a steady rhythm like a heartbeat. The moment his skin made contact, the chamber blazed with light. Symbols flared to life across the walls. The crystal glowed brighter, and within it, Thalorion's chest rose and fell with a deep breath. The spell was breaking. After 100 years, the curse was fracturing. But it was not broken yet. Vaelric could feel a final lock requiring a specific key. And somehow, he knew what that key was. The curse required true love's kiss, but Malachar had made it impossible for anyone in the kingdom to truly love the prince. Yet Vaelric was not purely of Sylvaris. He was a traveler's son, born on roads between kingdoms, baptized by rivers from a dozen lands. He existed outside the curse's parameters. And more than that, looking at the sleeping prince, Vaelric felt something bloom in his chest. Not love of long acquaintance or physical passion, but something deeper. The recognition of a soul by its other half. Coming home to a place never visited but always sought. He did not question it. Vaelric leaned forward, and the crystal softened like mist. He pressed his lips to Thalorion's, and the world exploded into light. Magic surged through Vaelric like lightning. It burned and froze, destroyed and created, remade him between heartbeats. He gasped and fell backward as the crystal shattered into sparkling dust. Prince Thalorion sat up, sapphire eyes flying open, chest heaving with his first breath in 100 years. His mind struggled to process awakening. Then his gaze found Vaelric sprawled on the floor, hand pressed to his chest where magic crackled. "Who are you?" Thalorion's voice was rough but melodic. Vaelric's voice had abandoned him. He could only stare at this impossible, beautiful creature returned to life. Thalorion swung his legs over the platform edge, movements uncertain, relearning his body's mechanics. "Everything feels different. How long have I been asleep?" 100 years, Your Highness." The prince went pale, looking around as if seeing the chamber for the first time. "A century. My mother. My father. Are they? Your father, King Valen, still rules. Your mother passed 20 years ago. I am sorry." Thalorion closed his eyes. A single tear traced down his cheek. When he opened them again, they held new resolve. "And you? You woke me. The curse required true love's kiss. I don't know you. How is this possible? I don't know. I'm nobody. Just a merchant's son. I was drawn by a light I couldn't ignore. When I saw you, I knew I had to kiss you. Just a merchant's son. Destiny cares nothing for titles. He stood, wavering, and Vaelric rushed to steady him. When their hands touched, both gasped. The magic flared with warmth, a sense of rightness settling deep. What is this magic? Thalorion asked, staring at their joined hands. When I kissed you, something changed inside me. I can feel power. Magic. Before Thalorion could respond, the chamber doors burst open. Guards poured in, followed by courtiers, servants, and King Valen. The king was 45, dark hair silver-streaked, face lined with sorrow's weight. When his eyes fell upon his son standing alive, everything else fell away. Thalorion! Valen breathed, then ran, crossing the distance. Father and son collided in an embrace that made everyone look away. The king sobbed openly, hands framing his son's face. My boy. You're awake. Father, I'm sorry I left you alone. No apologies. You're here now. Valen pulled back and addressed the crowd. His eyes fell on Vaelric. Who broke the curse? Who awakened my son? I did, your majesty. I'm Vaelric, son of Corvin the merchant. Valen crossed to Vaelric and knelt. You have given me back my son. Name your reward, and if it is within my power, it shall be yours. Vaelric glanced at Thalorion and knew what he wanted. I ask only to stay. To understand what happened. When I kissed the prince, something changed in me. I feel magic I've never possessed. I need to understand it. Magic? Valen summoned someone. Lyric, come forth. A man stepped forward, the palace wizard. Lyric was 30 with silver-white hair and storm-cloud eyes. He wore purple robes embroidered with constellations. Lyric approached, raising one hand. May I? When Vaelric nodded, Lyric placed his palm on Vaelric's chest. His eyes widened. Your Majesty, this boy has been granted a gift. You are a healer now. Not just of bodies, but of damage left by curses and dark magic. Breaking Thalorion's curse awakened your power to repair what Malachar's magic tore apart. Whispers erupted. This is a gift from old magic. Lyric continued. Instinctive, primal. You'll know what to do when needed. This young man must remain. The curse is broken, but Malachar's magic left scars throughout the kingdom. Fields that won't grow. Wells run dry. People suffering lingering ailments. Vaelric may be the key to truly healing Sylvaris. Valen nodded. Vaelric, you are invited to remain at the palace as honored guest. You will have the crown's gratitude for all your days. Days blurred. Vaelric was given opulent chambers. His father nearly fainted learning what his son had done. Lyric took charge of Vaelric's education, teaching him to sense magic's flow and strengthen control. Your power is unique, Lyric explained. When you broke the curse, you absorbed its opposite energy. Where Malachar's curse corrupted, your gift heals. You're the antithesis of his dark magic. Why me? Because you were outside its parameters. Born between kingdoms, blessed by many lands, never bound by the restriction. And your love was genuine. Soul recognition is the oldest, most powerful form of love. Vaelric slowly controlled his gift. The withered rosebush bloomed under his touch. A dry well flowed again. A farmer's strange seizures ended. Word spread, and people hoped in ways they hadn't allowed themselves in a century. But the hours Vaelric treasured most were with Thalorion. The prince struggled with adjustment, seeking solitude in palace gardens. One evening, Vaelric found him there. May I join you? Thalorion smiled. Please. They sat in comfortable silence. Finally Thalorion spoke. I keep expecting to wake up. To find this is another dream layer. I sometimes feel the same. Thalorion looked at him with that intense gaze. I'm grateful it was you. I was conscious during the sleep, in a way. I could feel time passing but was trapped. Unable to move or speak. Then I felt warmth. Your kiss. Like light in darkness, showing me back. I can't imagine how terrifying that was. It was lonely. But your kiss wasn't just breaking the curse. It was connection. Being seen and reached for by someone who didn't know me. That meant everything. Vaelric took Thalorion's hand. Warmth flowed between them. I may not have known you then, but I'd like to know you now. I would like that very much. From that evening, they were inseparable. Thalorion accompanied Vaelric on healing missions. Vaelric sat with Thalorion during council meetings. They walked gardens at twilight, sharing stories of vastly different lives. 3 months after Thalorion's awakening, they stood on a balcony overlooking the city. Sylvaris was transformed. Where fields had lain fallow, crops grew. Where wells ran dry, water flowed. People sang in streets again. You did this, Thalorion said. Your gift has healed more than physical scars. We did this. Together. Thalorion turned to him, painfully beautiful in moonlight. Vaelric, I need to tell you something. I'm falling in love with you. Perhaps I've been falling since that first kiss. I don't know if that makes me foolish, loving someone I've known such a short time. But it feels like I've been waiting for you my whole life. Like all those years of sleep were just time spent waiting for you to find me. Joy bloomed in Vaelric's chest. You're not foolish. Because I feel it too. I've been falling in love with you since I first saw you in that crystal chamber. Thalorion cupped Vaelric's face, his touch infinitely gentle. May I kiss you? Not because a curse demands it, but because I want to. Because I choose to. Yes. Please, yes. Their lips met under stars, and this kiss was nothing like the first. Where that had been desperate magic, this was tender and deep. Two people who'd found each other against impossible odds, choosing to stay. Magic sparked softer, warmer, like coming home. I love you, Thalorion said. I love you too. But happiness faced challenges. In Thornhaven's shadows, dark forces stirred. Malachar's disciples learned of Thalorion's awakening and Vaelric's gift, seeing the healer as a threat. The first attack came on a cold autumn night. Vaelric was healing a border village grove when shadow creatures emerged, dark, formless things absorbing light and warmth. Vaelric felt wrongness before seeing them. His magic recoiled. He shouted warnings, but shadows were upon them. But Vaelric discovered his magic could protect. Light burst from his hands, driving back shadows. Creatures shrieked and retreated, but one raked claws across Vaelric's shoulder, leaving wounds burning with dark magic. Guards got him to the palace. Thalorion went pale seeing injuries. Who did this? Shadow creatures, a guard reported. Without Vaelric's magic, we'd all be dead. Lyric examined wounds gravely. Thornhaven magic. Malachar's disciples see Vaelric as a threat. Then we protect him, Thalorion said. But Vaelric shook his head. I can't hide. People still need healing. If I stop from fear, Malachar's followers win without fighting. I won't lose you. Not when I've only just found you. You won't lose me. But I have to do this. They compromised. Vaelric would continue healing with protection. Thalorion would accompany every mission with elite soldiers. Lyric would teach Vaelric combat applications of his magic. Lessons were intense. Vaelric learned to create shields of light, blast enemies with purifying energy, sense dark magic from greater distances. His power grew stronger daily. The second attack came a month later. 3 shadow mages attempted ambush in palace gardens. But Vaelric sensed them immediately. Light erupted like a small sun, forcing retreat. One was captured and revealed the truth. Malachar survived, though weakened. He was gathering strength, preparing to strike again. King Valen called a council of war. Debate raged for hours. Finally Lyric stood, commanding silence. There may be another way. Malachar's power comes from the curse he cast. Even broken, remnants linger, connecting him to our prince. If we sever that connection completely, Malachar loses his hold. Only Vaelric can do it. What would I need to do? Travel to the heart of Malachar's original curse working. Use your healing to cleanse it completely. The connection will sever. Where is this place? The Obsidian Tower, deep in Thorn Haven. Malachar's stronghold. Protests erupted. But Vaelric felt strange calm. This was what he'd been preparing for. I'll do it. I'll go to the Obsidian Tower and end this. Thalorion grabbed his arm. Not alone. I'm coming with you. Valen looked between his son and the merchant's son who'd become so much more. Then go with my blessing. Both of you. The journey to the Obsidian Tower took 2 weeks of hard travel through increasingly dangerous terrain. They traveled with elite soldiers and, surprisingly, Lyric himself. The wizard insisted his knowledge of curse magic would be invaluable, and neither Vaelric nor Thalorion could argue with that logic. The landscape grew darker as they approached Thorn Haven, the very earth seeming corrupted by centuries of dark magic use. As they traveled through shadowed forests and across barren plains, Vaelric couldn't help but notice something developing between King Valen and Lyric. The farewell had been intense, lingering, full of unspoken words and meaningful glances. When Vaelric mentioned it to Thalorion, the prince smiled. I've noticed too. My father's been alone 20 years. He loved my mother deeply, but she wouldn't want him spending life in solitude. And Lyric is lonely. They'd be good for each other. An age gap romance between the king and his wizard. The court would be scandalized. Let them be scandalized. Love is rare enough that it should be celebrated wherever it blooms. They kissed under stars. The Obsidian Tower loomed like night shard given form. Built from black volcanic glass absorbing light, storm clouds swirled around its base. Dark magic saturated the air. Soldiers can't proceed, Lyric said grimly. Only those with magical protection. The three approached alone, climbing obsidian stairs through halls decorated with symbols of pain. Shadow creatures attacked, but Vaelric's light drove them back. Dark wards tried repelling them, but Lyric's magic shattered them. They reached the tower's heart. A vast chamber of polished black glass reflecting images into infinity. In the center, within a circle of dark runes, stood Malachar. The wizard hadn't aged well. The curse sustained him at terrible cost. Gray papery skin stretched over bones. Eyes burned with fever-bright madness. Robes hung like grave clothes. So, the awakened prince and his little healer have come. Your curse is broken, Thalorion said firmly. Sylvaris is healing. Your revenge failed. Failed? The curse was meant to prove love is fragile. That happiness can be stolen. I don't need to match it, Vaelric said calmly. I just need to cleanse it. He raised hands, and light poured forth. Not harsh burning light, but gentle healing. It flowed into runes, into the curse's foundations, seeking every thread of dark magic and dissolving it. Malachar screamed, hurling shadow bolts. But Thalorion deflected attacks with his sword. Lyric chanted protective spells. The battle raged. Vaelric poured everything into cleansing. His vision blurred. Legs shook. But he felt it working. The curse unraveled until, with shattering glass sound, it broke completely. Malachar collapsed, connections severed. Without it sustaining him, age caught up instantly. He crumbled to dust, leaving only empty robes. Vaelric fell to his knees. Thalorion caught him. You did it. You saved us all. We saved us. Together. The curse is gone. Truly gone, Lyric confirmed. The kingdom is free. The journey home was triumphant. By the time they reached Sylvaris, the kingdom celebrated. Valen met them at palace gates. The embrace between father and son was witnessed by thousands. Then the king knelt before Vaelric. You've saved my son twice. Sylvaris owes you an unpayable debt. He rose, addressing the crowd. Vaelric, son of Corvin, is hereby granted the title of Lord Healer of Sylvaris. And more, he has my blessing to wed my son, if such is their wish." The crowd roared. Thalorion took Vaelric's hand, kneeling. "Vaelric, you woke me from sleep and taught me to truly live. You've healed our kingdom and my heart. Will you marry me? Will you stand beside me as we build Sylvaris' future?" "Yes," Vaelric said, half laugh, half sob. "Yes, of course, yes." They kissed before the gates, and cheers echoed throughout the kingdom. The wedding took place 3 months later, on the first day of spring when the kingdom was in full bloom. It was a celebration unlike any Sylvaris had ever witnessed. Nobles from a dozen kingdoms attended, their carriages filling the palace grounds. Merchants set up stalls in the streets, offering their wares freely in honor of the occasion. The streets were filled with music and dancing, with performers from across the realm entertaining crowds from dawn till dusk. Children threw flower petals in the air, and bakers distributed sweet cakes to all who passed. In the palace gardens, under an arbor woven from roses that Vaelric himself had healed back to vibrant life, their blooms more spectacular than any seen before, Prince Thalorion and Lord Vaelric exchanged their vows before the assembled witnesses. As they spoke promises, Vaelric caught sight of King Vaelin and Lyric standing close, hands almost touching. The king smiled younger, lighter. Lyric's severe expression had softened to joy. Their story was just beginning. An age gap romance defying convention but feeling right. But today was for Vaelric and Thalorion. For celebrating love that conquered a century-old curse, brought a kingdom back from the brink, turned a merchant's son and sleeping prince into partners in magic and life. When pronounced wed, Thalorion pulled Vaelric into a kiss, making the crowd cheer again. Vaelric felt his healing magic pulse softly, not responding to wounds but recognizing profound rightness. This was what he'd been meant for. Not just healing a kingdom, but loving and being loved by this impossible, beautiful prince who had awoken for him. Years would pass. Vaelric would continue his sacred work as Sylvaris' Lord Healer, traveling the kingdom and eventually beyond its borders, using his extraordinary gift to help others in need. Thalorion would prove to be a wise and compassionate ruler, beloved by his people and admired by neighboring kingdoms. Together, they would face countless challenges and triumphant victories, sorrows and joys alike, always side by side, always partners in all things. And in the palace, Vaelin and Lyric would begin their own story of unexpected love and second chances, proving it's never too late to open your heart. But on this day, there was only celebration. Only joy. Only the magic of love healing more than any spell ever could. One kiss awakened a prince. One heart healed a kingdom. And in enchanted Sylvaris, where magic and destiny intertwined, 2 souls found their forever. This is the story of how a sleeping prince awoke for him, not because fate demanded it, but because 2 hearts recognized each other across time, magic, and impossible odds. In a world where curses can be broken and kingdoms can be healed, the greatest magic of all is the courage to love without reservation, to choose each other every day, and to build a future together against all odds. Love doesn't require grand gestures or ancient prophecies. Sometimes, it just requires one person brave enough to lean forward, to offer a kiss, to say yes to the extraordinary. And in that moment, everything changes, not just for 2 people, but for an entire kingdom waiting to bloom again.
If you loved this video, show me some support by subscribing and clicking the notification bell.